Do you know what the most popular game of all time is? Maybe Uno? Fortnite? Well, it's actually chess. Chess has been around for over 1,000 years, and it can seem very daunting to newer players. In this speech, I will teach you how the board is set up, how each piece moves, and some basic strategy to win the game. I'm knowledgeable in this topic because I've been playing chess since I was in 3rd grade. Chess is a very fun and strategic game to train your mind. So let's get into it. This is how the chessboard is set up. If you're seeing it set up any other way, then it is wrong. You will always have one front layer of all pawns. You have 8 of them in your front. Then you have all of your other pieces behind them. And you have basically just 2 of every other piece. You have 2 rooks, your rook's in the corner, then you have knight, bishop, and king and queen. The queen and king are different depending on what side of the board you are on. By rule of thumb, the queen is on whatever side the color that you are. So, since I'm white pieces here, the queen is on the white square. Also, the white corner is always in the bottom right. You can remember this because white and right rhyme, and it just goes right there. So now that I've taught you how the board is set up, let's get into how each piece moves. The first piece I will be covering is the most weak and not really basic piece, but really, here it is. It's the pawn. You have 8 of these, and they're just all lined up. So normally, your pawn is only going to be able to move 1 square forward, and it's kind of weak. But in certain occasions, when it's its first move and it's moving from this second row, it can move 2 squares forward, which makes it more powerful to get control of the board quicker. It is also special because it doesn't take straight forward, it takes other pieces by moving diagonally. So that's pretty special. The next piece is a stronger piece. This is the bishop. The bishop can move kind of in this X pattern, diagonally, any way, infinitely, however long it wants. So it's pretty strong. You only have 2 of them at a time on your board. The next piece I have is the knight. The knight is a very special piece because it doesn't move like the other pieces do. It moves in this kind of L shape, you see. So it goes 2 over and then 1 to the side. So it kind of creates this look to it. It can also jump over pieces. You only have 2 of them on a board too. The next piece is the rook. The rook is basically like a bishop, but you flipped it 45 degrees. It moves in this kind of plus sign, it looks like, and it can move up and down in any direction infinitely. Next is the most powerful piece. This is the queen. It's basically just a combination of the rook and the bishop. It can move in the plus sign and the X that we've shown earlier, and you only have 1 of them, so it's very important that you don't lose it. The final piece is the king. The king is definitely the most important piece you have, because basically once you lose your king, you lose the game. So yeah, it's very important that you keep this guy protected. And it's not very strong though, because it can only move 1 square in any direction. But still, it's only 1, so. Now we have some basic strategy to chess. That I've showed you how every piece moves. This is some basic strategy. This is called the London system, and it is a very popular opening. Go ahead and play. You'll see here, you get to develop all of your pieces without any of them being taken, really. So all of your pieces are either protected because the knight protects the pawn, the bishop is attacking your enemy, that pawn protects your bishop and the other pawn. You have your bishop set up to attack, your knight blocks the check, and it's just very powerful. It's popular and it has been around for a long time. I don't even know how long. Now that I've showed you how the board is set up, I've also showed you how the intricacies of how each piece moves. In addition, I showed you one of the best strategies, the London system. Now that you know the basics, you can participate in a major game in the history of the world. Have fun challenging your friends to a nice strategic game of chess.